Hello everyone, and welcome to Coach's Corner, a weekly interview with Warrior head coach Todd Mangum. Coach's Corner is brought to you each week by Whole Fitz Furniture, McDonald's, and Alpha Insurance. Coach, we survived another week.
Another week. We survived a trip to So-So and back.
Well, and we did make it back, and we didn't have any of the gates closed on us or the cattle gaps taken up or anything. It was an interesting week. The Warrior was gathered together and made a short trip to So-So, Mississippi. Faced the mighty Mustangs of West Jones in the title battle for Region 3-5A. And Coach, it was a humdinger with the Warriors taking a 28-17 win.
Yeah, it was. A typical West Jones Wayne County game. Kenny, this year, I guess you could say this year was the 10th anniversary of this rivalry. It started back in 2003, and as long as I was here, it was always a good game. And I know when I was gone, it was still that way. It was back and forth, and these last 2 years, it's been it's always good competition. Both fan bases are passionate, and really good environment over there.
The Warrior offense struggled some in the first quarter. We couldn't seem to get our wheels under us, had some mistakes, but man, then we exploded in the second quarter. We picked up 21 points and took a 21-17 lead at the half. Second half, a little slower. We only had one score in the second half. That was in the third quarter. But I thought we did a great job in the second half, though, of just using up clock and running plays and holding our field position.
Yeah, and going back, talking about the beginning of the game, penalties and field position, especially in that first quarter, and turning the ball over, that was something we can't, again, it's something that we've got to, coach up and everything. It's tough when you start out your, opening possession and you're starting, inside your 10-yard line. Really tough, but, just like we talked to our players about, there's going to be hills and valleys, there's going to be struggles, there's going to be adversity. But, we've got to keep the pace and weather the storm. And like I said, that second quarter we came out, did a really good job. And then in the second half, we only got one score. But again, field position and some things hurt us there in the second half, where we got to learn to use more clock especially in the last 4 minutes of the game. We need to be able to take control of that. So, but hey, we came out with a win, and that's the biggest thing.
Well, the Warrior defense played another solid game. We held West Jones to 97 yards on 40 carries on the ground, another 145 in the air, and I thought the biggest statistic tonight to me was defensively was the fact that they were 0 for on third down.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things we want to do is on third down. We want to win third down because that means we're fixing to get off the field. And we were able to do that. And, holding a team like West Jones to under 100 yards rushing is a great accomplishment for our defense and everything, because we knew going into the game that, their rushing offense, that's what they wanted to do. And being able to hold them under 100 yards on 40 carries, really, really good.
Well, Elijah Pugh was called on the field, not only his spot, but DJ's shoes. DJ Sims was out this week, and I thought he responded well with 141 yards on 34 carries, a couple of touchdowns. And I tell you what, watching him from the stands, he was gassed in the third quarter.
I told him coming off the field at halftime, I said, I know you've carried it a lot, but that ball ain't heavy. And you're going to carry it some more. And carrying it 34 times for 141 yards. And we have a couple of slips and a couple of bad cuts there that, he could have added to that yardage total. But did a good job carrying the football. Took some shots, offensive line, for the most part, did a good job in run blocking and everything. Got to do a little bit better, protection on pass. Sometimes a quarterback took some unnecessary hits. But yeah, I told Elijah, I said that ball ain't heavy, and you're gonna have to tote it.
Well, the 8 pounds on the ball doesn't mean it's
It doesn't weigh 8 pounds. That's how much air it goes. Yeah, that's it.
Well, Coach, one last thing before we close out the first segment. Got to ask you, the double pass. Man, that was a great call at that junction of the ball game. Gave us an extra score, but how long have y'all been hiding that play from us?
I know Coach Blackledge and them has been working on it for about 2 weeks. I know we had it in for the Pearl River Central game. Didn't use it. Had it in for the Laurel game. Didn't use it. And the timing of it, that anytime you run a play like that, I believe the timing is what's important on there. And it was after a turnover, got the ball on our hash, and I did not see it until I had to watch the film to see it. I had the defense over on the bench, and then all of a sudden I hear the crowd roar. And we score a touchdown, but it's a play we've been working on. Slip Reggie out there, throw it out there to him, and let him throw it. And the timing of it was good, and of course the execution was touchdown. So it's always good to have those in your pocket.
Don't feel too bad. I was looking downfield watching Courtney run his route, and I saw the seam open there around the hash. I never looked back, so I just took it to Hodo through the football, and I didn't get corrected until later. So, folks, that'll wind up this first segment. We'll be back in a moment after hearing from the fine sponsors to bring you Coach's Corner. We're back with the second half of Coach's Corner. Well, Coach, we get to come back home and host the South Jones Braves in the final region game, and Braves, one of those ball clubs, they've really struggled this year.
Yeah, they have. They've had just a tremendous amount of injuries, and it's been a tough year for Coach Bergolowski and South Jones, and they still compete each week, and they still prepare each week, and that's that says a lot for those players and for those coaches not to just throw in the towel, because they do compete each week.
Well, Coach, along those lines, this will be a ball game that regardless of their struggles, it's not going to have any effect on the regional standing, because that was as far as first place goes.
Right.
And so, but at the same time, it's a game that you got to line up and play regardless. So, what sort of trap can you as a staff or a team get into when you play a team that struggles so much and there's really not anything on the line?
Well, you want to impress on our players that it's the next game, and our players know what they read the papers, they see the news, they know what South Jones is going through, and what you do here is you work each day in practice to get better, and hopefully that you're able to get a lot of kids some playing time, and just want to remain focused, because like I told the team yesterday, we want to remain focused at our ultimate goal, and this just happens to be the next game in line. So that's the way we try to do it, just try to get those guys ready to play.
Well, as far as the region goes, the number one spot settled. We took that last week, but we've got the number 2 and 3 spots that'll be up for grabs. And that's going to be probably the biggest game, I guess, in the region as far as meaning will be West Jones and Laurel. And then the 4th slot, is that Brookhaven pretty much?
Well, it's the 2nd and 3rd spots will be determined by the winner and loser of West Jones, Laurel. Winner's 2nd, loser's 3rd. Pearl River Central and Brookhaven play. Winners 4, losers out. So, other than the first spot, which we have, every other spot we'll find out Friday night how that shakes out. It'll either be, like I said, West and Laurel winner 2nd, losers 3rd. Brookhaven, Pearl River Central, winners 4, losers out.
And that's probably the most interesting game, I would say, of the 2 games. I mean, West and Laurel will be tough, but Pearl River Central and Brookhaven ought to be pretty interesting.
It should be. It should be. Both of them or coming through the season had adversity with injuries, and it's just who's gotten healthy now and who's still got a little fight left in them.
Well, we'll move on now to Region 4 5A, which is the region opposite us. We call it the Coast Region. Pascagoula's got first spot locked down, and then there's good old Picayune. Lord love them. We've struggled with them over the years. But behind them, you got Goshen and Stone County, and they're not playing each other, but they're playing this week, and how that turns out, I think, will determine.
Yeah, I don't know who Goshen plays Pascagoula, Stone plays Picayune.
That's right.
And really, for the most part, that region's set. It's Pascagoula 1, Picayune 2, Stone 3, Goshen 4. Now, the only way anything could change is if Stone was able to beat Picayune, but it's pretty well set, 1 through 4 there, of how that's going to shake out. So, Pascagoula, Picayune, Stone, and Goshen, 1 through 4.
Well, let's drop back for just a second, back to last week, and because it ties into what we want to do this week. Really, is we had a great crowd at West last week. I tell you what, our folks turned out, and from where our little perch up there behind the band, we enjoyed an evening behind the Wayne County High School band. It does a great job. Those drums need a volume knob on them. We turn them down a little. But you talked about it last week on Coach's Corner about it was a big deal, and we needed a lot of fans there. We had a lot of fans last year. And you were right. It seemed to make a huge difference in our kids.
It does. I mean, when our fans are the great equalizer, when we go on, especially when we go on the road. If we can have as many fans as the home team or more, in some cases we've had more. Our players, our fans feed off our players feed off our fans. And it's so important, and I know there's limited seating there, but we had people on the fences, stacked deep in the bleachers, and it was just a great environment, and we have come to expect that here from our fans.
Well, we've got at least one more home game. That'll be, it appears, host Goshen. That's something that turns upside down there. So we've got 2 more home games, and it's going to be 2 more opportunities for our fans to come out and enjoy the new stadium and enjoy the video board and just have a good time up here on campus.
It is. This week being senior night, our last home game, we want to honor those seniors, not just in football, but cheerleading band, ROTC, Orange Crush, all those seniors that are involved there. And one thing about coming to a game now, there's even more fan interaction with the video board, and our student media crew that handles a lot of that do a great job with it. And our fans now can not just vocally be a part of the game, but visually be a part of the game now with what we're doing with the video board. So come on out. Last home game, regular season game. We know we got a playoff game at home next week, but this is the last regular season game, and it is senior night.
Well, Coach, as always, we close out. I want to wish you good luck this week against those South Jones Braves.
Thank you, Kenny.
Folks, that'll bring to a close this week's Coach's Corner. Tune in each Thursday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. and again on Friday evenings, 30 minutes prior to kickoff. I want to thank our sponsors again, Whole Foods Furniture, McDonald's, and Alpha Insurance. For head coach Todd Mangum, this is Kenny Odom. So long.